This is the Captain Swan podcast number 50. We are recording at a bit of a weird hour, so if everyone is asleep and I seem more awake than usual, that's the reason. I'm Serena, Savior out on Tumblr, and here are the people of the Captain Swan podcast today.
I'm Lisa, and you brought me home.
I'm Mai, and I'm Rowan Pressure Jones at 7 a.m.
I'm Michelle, and I'm to the end of the world or time, and it's 8 a.m.
I'm Ro, and I'm Jing Rita on Tumblr, and it is 12 a.m. in Australia.
I'm Steph, books are romantic, and it's 9 a.m. and there was a spider in my bedroom last night.
Well, since we are just saying the time, it's 2 p.m. here, but I usually do this at like 2 a.m., so I don't want to hear complaining.
Okay.
But 2 a.m. is different than 7 a.m. 2 a.m. you can still be awake. 7 a.m. you actually have to go to sleep.
Okay, this is number 50. Well, what should we do for number 50? Someone wants to sing Happy Birthday? Ro?
I'm too asleep for that.
What birthday is it?
The podcast!
Oh. For It's a Jolly Good Podcast, for It's a Jolly Good Podcast, for It's a Jolly Good Podcast, something.
Yay!
I do better when I'm not so sleepy.
I'm sorry, the sound effects are on a delay because Google is being stupid. Okay,
Yeah.
let's start with the episode since everyone is about to fall asleep on me. What was the name? Unforgiven. Okay, Unforgiven. So we have been speculating.
You know what I have Unforgiven?
Yes.
How Adam and Nanny are treating Anastasia. See, I am awake for that.
Okay, maybe everyone should say what things they have not forgiven Adam and Hetty for.
Ooh.
For me, it's breaking glass. I have not forgiven them for that horrible episode. Lisa, what have you not forgiven them for?
Their shitty writing for season 4, episode 11, and pigeonholing themselves with Frozen so that they overlooked the bigger plot line, which was Hook having his heart ripped out and screwing us over with that because there was a lot of stuff that needed to be discussed, and yeah, we all got kind of hosed. Still kind of sore.
Ma, you said you haven't forgiven them for Anastasia?
Yes, but let me elaborate. Okay. Fuck you, Adam and Nanny. I'm sorry. You guys, I love you. I've defended you many times over. But this is something I cannot defend. Anastasia was never a fucking monster. Stop putting her on the same level as Rumple.
Or
When
Regina.
you got no, because in the injuries that had her in the same level as Rumple. She was never a monster, so Will never had to look beyond the monster. He loved Anna before she went evil. Do you remember your own show, Euros? I don't think so. Because you haven't given us anything. Scarlet Queen fans have been hitting the shit. Okay? And seriously, we deserve more than what we've gotten. Because we've gotten a mention in a book from Unforgiven, and we have to assume that things went bad, and either you killed her again, which really a third time would be a little illogical, even for this show, or she went evil again, which makes absolutely no sense. Because hello, the only reason she went evil in the first place was to get Will back. She got Will back. And she had her people's respect. So she had everything. So really, her turning evil makes no fucking sense.
Michelle, what about you?
I haven't forgiven them for not actually. I mean, I'm the last person to care about Graham as a person, but the fact that Emma is trying to be friends with Regina and does not know that Regina murdered someone she cared about just to spite her, I'm still angry about
So
that.
true.
Mm.
Ro?
Not killing Walsh sooner.
Didn't he die like the same episode that he first appeared in?
Exactly.
So you're just upset about his existence, full stop.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Stephanie?
I'm gonna go with dropping the ball on Ruby in season 2 because I miss her and she was awesome.
That is a good one.
And why didn't you? I mean, if you bring it back to my point, if you wanted a partner for Belle, why not Ruby? Ruby was perfect.
Yeah, Red Beauty.
Yeah,
That
it
would have been
it would have given them a non-traditional couple, and it would have been more Beauty and the Beast than what the Beauty and the Beast we got. It's all
Yeah, I
real.
mean, but obviously they're just waiting to go back to Rambelle, so it would have been kind of gross for Belle to dump Ruby to go back to Rumple.
When I was
Yes.
with that hat on a moment of except
Besides,
for Frasian because of
they didn't do the whole, monster thing for nothing. So obviously they were thinking of doing some sort of Frankenwolf thing
Yeah, but
going
then we
on.
lost Whale too, so there is no Frankenwolf, and I'm very upset about this.
yes. Apparently there was one. We lost one to the zombies. We've also lost a fairy to the zombies.
Okay, so let's just get into it. Snow in Secret. We've been speculating. We've been speculating about it, and was it bad? Was it underwhelming?
I
Well,
honestly expected worse.
Well, we
So
don't
you
know
both-
we don't know the
more to it.
details. It could be worse than we're expecting when they get into the nitty gritty of what actually happened. We just
But-
know the bare bones of it right now.
Does anyone think that it won't be something like in season 1, where at the beginning, episode 3, Snow was like, yeah, I ruined Regina's life, and then when we find out the details, it's like, that's it? I
Yeah,
think it's gonna
Probably.
be...
probably.
I
No,
think
I
it's going to
something
be like a polarity
no.
to
thing where
make
they
us
took
feel
Emma's
like they're
potential
evil.
darkness and put it on
I-
Maleficent's baby.
I honestly think that they were saying that once the secret got out, that a lot of things that happened earlier in the seasons would make sense, and quite honestly, it actually makes everything from
Not
the
make
snowing
sense?
flashback. It makes everything. The first initial flashbacks that we got of the night that the curse was cast, or the night that Emma was born, and their rush to get her into the wardrobe, makes so much more sense now.
Oh,
So much
Why?
more sense
How?
with
They saw
this
it coming.
added info. No,
Explain.
they knew the curse was coming, but now there's that added layer, that they had to sacrifice somebody else's child in order to make this happen, and they had to go through extraordinary means to make sure that she was going to be good instead of evil. And I'm like, Snow.
But see, that's the
That's-
thing, though. Once they put her in the wardrobe, Emma's fate is completely out of their hands.
Yes.
I mean, what happened to Emma after that is entirely up to Emma and the circumstances she found herself in, which were really shitty. And she managed to overcome it anyway. Now, if they're trying to argue that it's because they went to these great lengths to push her potential for darkness on the Maleficent's kid or whatever, then I call fuckery. I don't think that's bullshit.
Fuckery.
yeah,
Is-
exactly. And then when they were like, yeah, your kid maybe is good, or she may be evil, like every kid in the world, like because she will have free will. What?
Exactly.
Why would they be shocked?
This show has forgotten the little thing about free will.
Yeah.
That's what.
And
That's
I'm
what
not
drives me
talking
nuts
about
about
the
this
will,
whole.
Scarlet.
That's what drives me crazy about this whole thing. I mean, they're the ones that are saying that are trying to say to Cruella and Ursula and all them that your fate is what you make it, not what some author wrote in a fucking book. And yet they're the ones. They're the ones that started this whole mess by trying to change what they perceived was their own child's fate. And without thinking common sense here, she will make her own fate. She's not born evil. She'll make her own choices in her own life. Because the way
It makes me wonder what people thought about fate before, like, the curse in the Enchanted Forest. Was it just something that people just accepted, or was, I mean, the values of the Enchanted Forest are a little different than values here. I mean, it's a fairy tale land where things like fate and magic and stuff supposedly exist. So maybe that's where Snow's coming from, because she doesn't know at that point, when Maleficent's coming to her about the curse and stuff, that her mother was murdered. She knows her dad was, but she doesn't know her mother was because Cora's a crazy person. She just thinks it was fate that her mother died when she did. I don't know.
It does make more sense as a possible darkness trigger for Emma than what the commercial tells us, with her heart brimming with blackness. Like, if she makes it right and reverses whatever the hell it does, I would buy that more as like a sudden influx of dark magic in her than like any other possible.
I always thought that the
could
heart in the promo
right
has
now.
nothing to do with Emma.
Frankly, I think that was just, they just had Rumpel say stuff that sort of kind of made sense, and
It doesn't
they
make
just decided.
That's
Well,
what bothers me
that's
so
like
much about it.
that's like the promo. Remember the promo for the crocodile where it tried to say that Hook was worse than Rumpel or some fuckery, and then we actually saw the crocodile and we were like, "What the fuck were you talking about, promo monkeys?"
It's just an overrated
I think this is like that.
boy.
It's totally like that.
I think they're just trying to be, overly dramatic to promote the show and get people interested in watching. It's an advertisement. That's what
But
it's
here's
supposed
the
to
thing,
achieve.
Adam and Annie. I'm gonna give you 5-minute props. Stop pushing the Regina storyline. Like, seriously, nobody cares about Regina or Queen.
I will be very interested to see, because this is obviously a Regina-centric episode that's coming up. I will be very interested to see what the ratings are.
I will not be surprised if it's around the ratings that a certain show has been without their main character. You want to know how a show does when you don't put their main character? Look at the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Just look at the ratings for the first 2 episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and look at the character missing. And then you've got your answer.
All I know is if Regina doesn't start learning the difference between sassing and insulting, I'm about ready to rip her tongue out, because there's a fine line between being sassy and just outright being a bitch.
And the thing with Regina is, if she's like doing it to Ursula or Cruella or Rumpel, they're her people. They're like the evil people. They do it right back to her. But she does it to people who are actually trying to be nice to her and give her the benefit of the doubt.
All the time.
And like I said, the only person who's safe is Henry, because even sassing her kid is low even for her.
The problem, like in Breaking Glass, is not completely that she is a bitch to people. It's the people just shut up and take it. Like, if she said something to them and they replied, like when Emma told her, I think you're bitter and taking it out on the wrong person. I'm okay with that kind of like bitchiness from Regina, because Emma puts her in her place. But when she does this And she makes this kind of remarks, and everyone just is like
Yes, Regina,
silent, and we were
Mhm.
so worried about you, Regina,
Yes.
we
please.
are
No.
worms.
Yes.
We
It's
are
like
worms.
in the latest sneak peek that we got when they went to meet her, to find out what the queens were up to, and she's like, "I told you to meet me here alone, not bring the whole charming family softball team and their pirate
Mascot.
mascot." I'm like, Regina, you need to shut up, okay? Seriously,
I am
they're
not
there.
even seeing the sneak
They're
peek.
there because they're worried and they want to make sure that you're okay, and you're standing there insulting them. And lay off the goddamn pirate, okay? Lay off the pirate.
Yeah, seriously. This is why I'm so grateful for Hook, because he's the only one who doesn't coddle Regina or cheerlead for her. He's just rolling his eyes.
I love how
I
he's still
can't believe
calling
my
her the evil
girlfriend puts
queen.
up with this woman.
You know, I
Yes.
was utterly shocked that when she said that he didn't say something back. But I guess he decided, you know what, I'm gonna pick my battles here and let them deal with it.
Well, he does share
Yeah.
a look with Charming, and they're both sort of rolling their eyes.
Because Charming doesn't like Regina either. Like, I know fans try to sell that Charming is totally okay, but Charming kind of hates Regina's cuts as well.
Well, it's like in the season premiere when they came out with the whole Robin Hood, Mary, and Regina thing, and he's like, well, no one's been set on fire, so that's good. Everyone's still alive. Progress.
But I guess they realized they all know when to pick their battles, and they realized at that point that worrying about her mouth was less important than the problem.
Well, we'll see what the rest of that scene is, in a few hours.
I
Hey, Slack
surely
Google
to
Plus.
God hope that she's not considering going undercover with Regina, because she's good at it, but the queens
We'll,
would
Makes no
we'll
sense.
see. We'll
I think
see.
she's
queens
just
would
going to
never
try
buy
to go as her backup and,
the
like, be all
queens would
stealthy.
never buy that she had gone bad. They would never buy it.
Okay, so can we agree that Geppetto was the MVP of this episode?
Woo!
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
But I didn't
Bless
like
you,
Finally.
Geppetto.
But here's the-
as a mom, when I saw that scene, I was like, "Bitch, you better step off."
And the
You
thing
don't-
is, and
don't
that's
do
the thing I
that.
don't understand with Regina. She's got a kid of her own, and she even says to Geppetto that if someone talked to Henry like that, she'd like flip her shit. So why are you doing that to other people's kids? Control your temper, woman. This is how you got in trouble in the first place.
He was just thinking of August at the time, not a kid.
I mean, can we talk about her apology? It was like a typical Regina apology. I'm sorry. I know if I do that, I won't get my happy ending. So I shouldn't have done that. It's like, make it a little more about yourself, woman.
I know.
Yeah,
I didn't like
really.
that she was
Did
immediately
you just
rewarded for
like
the
But hey,
apologize,
hey.
saying that you knew that it was, really horrible to yell at a little child and make it about that? Not,
At least he apologized.
And did it
honestly
without
didn't
prompting,
expect it.
so that's a teeny tiny step of progress. But still, she makes it all. Still, it's all about Regina.
And I mean, it seems like she has not realized that when she made this apology and acted good, something good happened. So it does happen when you act good, but she's still convinced that the universe has it for her. It's like, realize what's happening around you, please.
Nah, that requires a little too much thinking.
Okay, what has happened in this episode? Oh yeah, the Captain Swan plotline.
Oh,
What?
just that.
Oh, yeah, that's, you know.
Did everyone in this freaking episode lie to Emma? I'm trying to think about someone who didn't lie to her.
Henry.
And
August.
did,
Pinocchio?
did
Pinocchio.
they
Yeah,
even talk? She
But
and Harry?
they were lies of different levels. Like Snowing's lie was significantly worse than what Hook was doing.
I think it was pretty much the same, but Hook had the opportunity to, like, be better because she told him, okay, it won't change what I feel about you, while Snowing didn't. If maybe.
Well, the
Knowing
thing is,
overheard that and we're like, oh shit, it's gonna change what she thinks about us.
yes, they took the exact opposite tack that Hook took. Like
And,
when she
they
called
were
when she called him out and said, you don't want to tell me, okay, but it won't change how I feel. The thing that is not okay is lying about it. Like, if there's a history, fine, just tell me there is. You don't have to tell me what it is specifically. Just don't be evasive and lie about it. And he's like, you're right, I my bad. See, that's what he did. Snowing.
Yeah, but he did it.
When Snow had the opportunity to say, hey, we did a bad. Snow's like, yeah, just they're villains. I'm like, really, Snow? That's the takeaway you have from that conversation? Seriously?
It's like, I was rooting for them for actually telling them, and because I was like, yes, Charming, you go, and then, bam.
I mean, let's be honest.
boom.
The truth, finding out bad information is always worse when it's from somebody who didn't do the thing. Like, if Emma finds out from Maleficent or Cruella drops a truth bomb or something, that's gonna be worse than if Snowing told her themselves.
I mean,
Exactly,
it's so.
because the big thing about this is that not being honest represents a lack of faith. Because
A lack of faith in Emma. It's not. Snow is
she
afraid
was-
of the wrong thing. Snow is afraid of how Emma's going to react to this terrible thing they did, not how Emma's going to react to being lied to.
I mean,
And with Emma, she's been nothing but lied to and betrayed her whole life. That's the thing that gets her.
She sat right there with Hook and said that she almost had a lapse in faith about her parents and whether or not they were being honest with her when they told her they were going hiking and that everything was okay. But she chose to, believe
Suppress
them.
her instincts.
And, yeah, she chose to see the greater good. And yet they didn't seem to have the same amount of faith in her, that if they just told her that she would be upset, but she would understand. It's the same thing what happened in the beginning of season 3, that Charming didn't have enough faith in Snow to tell her that he'd been hit by the arrow. And she had to find out in the worst possible way in episode 6.
But I mean, it's so contrived because there are 50,000 people in the town that know the truth, and most of them hate them, so they just wait until the worst possible moment to tell Emma. And then Snow goes and tells Regina, and she knows that the next time she has PMS, she'll go and tell Emma. So it's like, what
I'm just
what
glad
are you doing?
that Hook had enough faith in her to take that leap and say, yeah, I did have a history with her. It was ugly, and I didn't want you to think less of me for it. Because you could tell he was so terrified of her leaving and so ashamed of whatever it was that he had done to her.
Foreshadowing. Foreshadowing.
Yes.
And honestly, her telling him that it was okay and that she was still gonna choose to see the best in him. If you ask me, this was something that was a long time coming, because he has been fighting for her since day one, and he kind of really needed that boost. He needed to know that no matter what, no matter how bad his past is, and let's be real here, the man's got a 300-year-old past, that he could be confident that no matter what, that she wasn't going to run, because she's never given him reason to believe otherwise.
I mean, she kind of has. She's been calling him a hero since the season 3 finale. If he's insecure and doesn't internalize her word, it's not her fault, I think. It's just insecure, and he'll keep lying because the writers just like to recycle storylines.
I'm not really arguing there.
That's why, and that's why I wish that they talked about what happened between him and Gold in the first half of the season, so they could address this insecurity issue. But unfortunately.
Yeah, I think they wanted to deal with insecurity. They wanted to deal with Emma's insecurity about her magic in the first half and Killian's insecurity in the second half. It's just the way they decided to plot out the season, which required them to recycle this Hook is less than truthful nonsense yet again. But hopefully this will be the last time. And after episode 15, and he actually spills about what really happened with Ursula. And we will not have to worry about this ever again. Please, baby Jesus.
Third time's the charm.
Yeah, okay,
Charm.
Ro?
well, it's not really lying if it's just something about his history that he doesn't feel like sharing just yet.
It's not lying right now, but when he told her, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know her."
Yeah,
That
but
was lying.
he said I don't recall, and that was a lie because he did. That was the only real lie he told, and he confessed later that he had been less than forthright, to use his words, and so he fixed that particular mistake within the same episode, which is a lot better than with the lip curse or with Rumple, which went on for multiple episodes. So hey, progress! Woo!
Well, I guess he learned from all those missteps that keeping secrets doesn't do anybody any good.
No.
Yeah, and let's be honest, I mean, whatever happened between him and Ursula, it's not nearly as bad as what happened with Snowing and Maleficent, because that directly affects Emma because they know about her potential for darkness and they're not telling her about it.
Plus, if it's what we think it is, it's going to hit really close to home for Emma, considering her own history.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
that they
that's-
willingly
and that's-
allowed this child to be lost, when they had gone on and on about how their own child was taken from them and that they didn't have the chance to be parents, blah blah blah, and they were so upset that she didn't have the life that they wanted her to have, and yet they willingly did it to this innocent child who didn't even ask to be born.
Did they not listen to what Zelena was saying when she said she needed the last thing, when she needed the kid for the spell, what she needed from Baby Charming was the fact that he was innocent. He was born innocent. Because all babies
Yes,
are.
all babies are.
Yes.
Duh.
Can we talk about how unsafe
Except
that
Emma.
baby rattle looked? That did not look like something you'd actually want to give to a kid.
I mean, it's obvious.
Wow.
It's obvious at this point that Maleficent's child not only is she lost to another realm, but she was also
she said lost.
obviously.
Technically, we don't know lost to another realm. Yeah.
She was obviously.
Yeah, we know.
But her life was never going to be an easy one, regardless. Even if the curse had never been cast and she had been born in the and stayed in the enchanted forest.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Maleficent was, before Regina showed up and went all, steel curse happy. Maleficent was just chilling in her castle, and then, Regina starts, steals the curse, and she realizes, oh crap, this crazy lady's trying to destroy everybody, and now my kid's in danger, and that caused her to, reawaken her darkness or whatever. So, but I think if she had had Regina not cast the curse and she had just been allowed to raise her kid, then her kid might have been fine. She was retired. She was a retired baddie.
Back in season 1, episode 2.
She wouldn't exactly have had the life that Maleficent wanted for her, because it's glaringly obvious at this point that the child is born out of wedlock and is obviously King Stephen's.
Well,
really?
Wait.
I think that's why she cursed Aurora the way she did. Everyone has always gone about, oh God, she's a crazy bitch because they didn't invite her to Aurora's christening party, so she got all mad
because
and cursed her.
she cursed Aurora's mother first. The original sleeping curse was for Aurora's mother, not Aurora. That whole thing with Aurora and Philip is different than what happened. That Aurora's mother is the original Sleeping Beauty. They said that. So hopefully we're going to find out what the deal is with that. But what was that? I was about to say something and I forget what it was.
I think that she has a relationship with Stefan, and I'm guessing that Aurora and Lily were born around the same No.
No,
older than
Aurora
that.
has to be older
But I
because she
mean,
was already under
the
the sleeping
fact that
curse when the
Stefan
curse hit.
obviously showered all his affections on his legitimate daughter, and this other child born out of wedlock gets nothing. Doesn't even
Okay.
can't even be acknowledged. And she has a right to be fucking pissed off.
Mini spoiler alert. I know we're talking about spoilers later, but mini spoiler alert. So turn your thing off for about 3 seconds. They say in that hot seat interview that they're going to reveal who the father is if there is one. So we don't know for sure that Maleficent, did the do with Stefan.
But what I'm wondering is,
Genesis, people.
she's pregnant with this child, but is it hers or is it a result of the true love egg in her?
That is
No.
another possibility.
That's
Very,
It is
very
magic.
possible.
So, if it's a result of the true love egg, is the father Rumple or Charming?
no.
Awkward.
We're just gonna go parthenogenesis. She made it herself.
Well, the true love potion is a hair from Charming and a hair from Snow.
So the father
Just to make it
is
even weirder.
Snow and Charming.
I'm more concerned about.
Sister her age.
I'm more concerned about this baby mama drama because in that same hot seat, people were asking if somebody was gonna pop up pregnant on the show, and they keep saying can't say, and I'm like, you know what? The only person that makes sense to pop up pregnant at this point is Regina,
Oh God.
Oh,
because it's been almost 2 months since she was with him in the vault, so timing is right, I guess.
Well, we've got to stick Robin back with her somehow.
seriously, that's the only way.
Maybe
they
that's-
can-
Okay, let's finish talking about the episode. Did something else happen?
Let me think.
Cruella and
Oh
Ursula
well,
were
there's
fabulous.
the thing I already complained about.
Oh yeah, Rumple at the end. While
Oh,
Snow's
no,
giving
I
her
have to
her dumb
admit-
speech.
Rumble was perfect. I mean, his reaction, I was like, ha! Take
But
that, you
again,
bastard.
it's that shot that we had last week where they had Rumple looking like he was gonna cry before he got to come into town. Now he's trying to look all sad because Belle has moved on or whatever. She's dating someone else, and they keep doing these shots like I'm supposed to feel bad for you, and I'm like, I don't feel bad for you. You brought this.
I'm
fuckery on
laughing at your
yourself.
pain.
Exactly.
At this point,
of
even
course.
laugh.
And I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Tears, 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 yes, but you did this to yourself. Rumple, nobody to blame
Tears.
but yourself. Besides, there's no blame in this. I mean, I don't know if the Enchanted Forest has divorce, but considering what
They
she
were
did,
married by a cricket.
considering what she did by thrusting you over the town line so you would never be able to come back, I think that's pretty much you guys' version of divorce. So y'all are done. Y'all are done.
Yep.
She has the right to, after what you put her through and the shit that she's been through her whole life, she has the right to have a little bit of happiness.
Plus, he proposed under false pretenses. He gave her a fake dagger as a proposal. Like,
Also true.
annulled so quickly.
So if Shady Blue wanted to grant them annulment, she could.
Totally. Granny,
Exactly.
Ursula, and Cruella were amazing this episode.
Yes,
Yes.
Cruella.
That was
Like,
hilarious.
seriously.
Sheriff
I
Chisel
remember
Chin.
when Maleficent was coming up, was reviving, which kind of makes no sense. No, I thought that was best thing. But whatever. And they were just in the background, like friends chatting away. Like, oh, I forgot how much I missed her. It's gonna be so much fun. I was like, ha.
And okay, so I'm a little confused about Regina. She says to Cruella and Maleficent, if you ever, or Cruella and what's her face, Ursula, that if they say her misdeeds again in front of her son, she's gonna raise holy hell. Henry's read the book. A lot of Regina's really, really bad stuff is in the book. So how can he possibly? And he still believes in her. So how can he possibly
And there's the fact
lose
that
faith
he's
in the
seen
person she's
a lot of
become
that shit
when he
again.
finds out, hey, she murdered a whole bunch of people. Gary knows this.
it's not that. I think she was at that point trying to establish to them herself being not like them. Because when she walked in and they were complaining that Granny wasn't getting their drinks fast enough, they wanted Regina to rip Granny's heart out. I guess
how does Regina expect to get them back across the town line if they don't want to go willingly? You know what I mean? She's gonna have to go all evil queen on them to get them across the town line if they don't want to go willingly. Is my point. So she's not really saying that she's not like them. Part of her is still like them and always will be. It's just how she chooses to channel that energy.
Talked about. She wants to forget because she wants her happy ending. So she just doesn't want people going around talking about all the horrible things she did, even though everyone knows about all the horrible things she did.
Pretty much.
You know, that it almost kind of reminds me of that flashback when she disguised herself because she wanted to know what the people in town really thought of her, and she was so upset. Why do they hate me? Why do they hate me? I'm their queen. They're supposed to love me. I'm like, bitch, you just raised a town to the ground, and you ripped everybody's hearts out. Why are they supposed to love you? Are you kidding? Are you that deluded?
In time, they will see my kindness. You crazy lady.
And they wanted this to. I'll give them the evil queen. Like, dude, you were already giving them the evil queen.
Yeah.
Girl, you need a sassy gay friend.
How do you?
I guess that Cruella.
I'll give me some.
See, if they could have kept Tinkerbell around, that could be an independent friend that Regina had instead of trying to do this whole Emma-Regina friendship nonsense that doesn't make sense.
Like she's a zombie.
Probably
getting paid better to be a zombie.
My thing with her is that she seems to think that her happiness is dependent upon others. First it was Henry, now it's Robin.
Well, no, first it was the curse, then it was Henry.
Then Henry, and then
now it's this
Robin.
author
You need to be able to find happiness for yourself. You have to want it for yourself. Make your own choices, not have other people be your crutch. That's what makes Hook so different than the others, because he took it for himself. Yes, he wanted to be better for Emma, but when he made that choice to turn his ship around and come back, he wasn't even involved with her at that point. He did it for himself. You know? Because he didn't want to be this hateful person. He wanted to be better. Because as the confession says, Mike drop, Hook don't need no author, Hook don't need no book to give himself a better life. Hook took that shit. He owned his own actions and took his shit upon himself. Thank you very much.
Cha-ching!
Mic drop.
Okay, let's go to the questions. Okay, first one. The vampire chick Queen of Fangs asks, do you think the Snowing secret was over the top? They made it seem like Snowing killed the whole town or something to that effect. I think they tried too hard to make them look like bad people.
Yeah, but seriously, that whole monologue that Snow just does at the end.
Oh, yes.
It went on too long.
That was already.
Yeah. I was like, what is all this shit?
It doesn't even make sense.
My monologue I like the monologue itself, but makes no saying it makes no sense.
Are you
it's like,
talking about
why couldn't we do it inside where it's not raining?
Yeah, seriously, it's not like anybody. I mean, Henry might be the only one staying at Regina's house, and I'm sure Regina can throw up a silencing spell or something so that he doesn't hear them. Why are we doing it?
I think they were trying to set up an aesthetic where Snow is it's hard to explain. It's like she has isolated herself along with Charming because of this secret. They were trying to show how dark the secret is supposed to be perceived as. That monologue.
Well, it probably
that
would
speech-
have been more powerful for me personally if I hadn't seen certain things. So I guess
But does that
spoilers
speech
are
that
my
she
own
did,
fault.
though-
But still, the speech doesn't make any sense.
Nope.
Yeah, it does. It was actually very emotional and very powerful because she was saying, how secrets, that when trust is broken, the bonds you have are invariably.
Yeah, but
yes!
Snow herself should know secrets are bad. I mean, look how upset she was when she found out Charming was dying. I mean, and then he
And
couldn't
here
leave
I'm
Neverland, and he kept it a secret, and she was quite rightly very irate. And now she's denying her own daughter the same kind of truth. So kindly fuck off, Snow.
Honestly, the whole it breaks bonds. Well, tell her the truth. I mean, you don't want to break the bond? Tell her the truth.
Yeah, I guarantee
And
you, when
Terry-
she finds out, Emma's going to be much more upset that they lied and that they continue to lie to her face than she is about what they actually did.
I think one of the
Insert
most
the gift
powerful.
from Aladdin of Genie being tell her the truth.
I think one of the most powerful scenes in the episode was the Queens of Darkness up on that hill, and you see Mal put the rattle together. And she shakes it and it makes a little noise, and the camera does this close up on her face, and you can see her eyes are starting to turn red because she's struggling not to cry. And as evil as she might have been as a mom, as a mother, I struggle not to. No, I can't hate her for it because this woman's lost her child. And she was forthright. She came to Snow in good faith, begging for her help. Please, this is not about good or evil. This is about our children. Help me. Help me.
Honestly, I feel a lot more for Maleficent than for Regina.
I had no problems with Snow turning Maleficent down in that scene in the Enchanted Forest, saying
I didn't
no,
either.
like, we're gonna do this our way. Like, you fucking turned into a dragon and incinerated the guards who were just doing their job. Like, you could have let us ride you across the ravine.
Yeah, but at the expense of somebody else's child.
Well, I think it just kind of spirals.
Just because you want to be high and mighty.
But that moment in the bed, she's like there's nothing wrong with what she says to Maleficent.
Exactly. It's what they do after. It's the choices they make after that that's going to be bad. But that initial rejection of Maleficent, I don't blame her at all for that, because that's Snow being Snow. That's the forthright, good Snow that we know, and then she's going to compromise. She says she doesn't want to compromise that, but that's foreshadowing of the fact that she actually will compromise her beliefs just a little bit because she's selfishly worried about her own child.
And she went to the Dark One, who was their guest at the time.
Okay, next question. Anonymous asks, anyone else missing the actual town people of Storybrooke? I hope they get more story than to be props for Regina's redemption. They deserve an happy ending too, more so than her.
Well, Marco kinda got his happy ending when Pinocchio came back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has his.
I think most everybody else is pretty content. It's just what the show is focusing on is these villains who come into town to mess with the main characters that we care about. We're just expected to believe that the rest of the town at large is pretty okay.
That's why Ashley and Thomas disappeared after season 1, because they got their happy ending, and Philip and
she's running baby
Aurora
classes.
got their happiness and whatever.
And her baby changed sexes.
No.
No.
It just changed ages.
Yeah. I mean, her kid's name is Alexandra, and Alex is a short for Alexandra. So, kid's the same sex, it's just older.
Although I wouldn't be surprised if the townsfolk aren't totally pissed off at the fact that they keep going from Storybrook's the Enchanted Forest and back and forth.
Oh,
You know what?
yeah.
Screw this shit.
I would
as
think
far
that
as
so.
well, as far as we know, there is no way to go back to unless the sorcerer does something. There's no way. Like Snow can't destroy the curse because Regina already destroyed the scroll. They cast the curse from Regina's memory. So unless Snow like died or something, I don't think there's any way to undo it this time like there was last time. So they're pretty much stuck unless the sorcerer opens a portal back to the Enchanted Forest. Just saying.
Hence, bad juju with Henry being in town all by himself and attempting to drive his mother's car because everybody disappeared. Yeah, bad juju.
Yeah, that.
Well, we're not
I
there
don't know
yet.
what's going on there.
We'll get to that.
okay. Another question. Anonymous asks, do you think this is a bit spoiler, so we can start the spoiler part of the podcast here? Do you think we will learn the truth about what happened between Killian and Ursula at the same time that Emma will learn the truth? Or do you think we will know what happened before Emma does?
No, I think it's all gonna be at the same time.
Yeah,
Like I think what they're gonna do.
Episode.
Yeah, like
It might not be at the same time because we get to watch the flashbacks and Emma doesn't.
Well, yeah. What I was about to say is that Cruella or Ursula or somebody like makes some snide remark or something, and Hook hears about it or is there or whatever, and he realizes that he has to tell her because he just does. So he sits her down and starts to tell her, and while he's telling her, the scene cuts to, whatever it is they actually did. And then it cuts back when it's over. And he's like,
Yes.
So do you hate me now, etc., etc.
Yeah, despite the fact that I jumped into a freaking time portal for you.
Sorry,
let's face it, it's gonna be a really, really good parallel if by that time Snow and Charming haven't told her. So it's
if Snow and Charming, I don't think she finds out until 16, quite frankly.
Yeah, that would be too much to do in the next 2 episodes. Like if they have whatever Regina undercover this week, next week is Killian's secret history with Ursula, and the week after would be Emma finding out what her parents did.
Right, and it's bet to have the snowing secret have the most impact. They have to let it fester for a couple weeks. Like we know that they did something, and then a couple weeks later, Emma finds out, and that's why Emma's so upset because they lied to her for days. Well, actually, with the potential secret, they lied to her for years. But whatever.
Ro, what were you saying?
Well, I mean, Killian's secret. We know it doesn't really do anything that bad because we've seen the photos where they're always hugging, so they're cool with each other. Emma seems more upset with Snow.
Yes.
Yeah, well, they established that, he could tell her on his own time, just as long as he doesn't lie about the fact that, yes, there is a history with Ursula. She's fine. She's going to accept him as it is. She knows he's a 100-year-old pirate. He has a checkered history. She knows that.
They're doing that completely on purpose because, like I said, the parallel and the person who shows okay, I'll tell you later. I can't right now, but I'll tell you later. And the parallel of those who shows, oh wait, we're not gonna tell you. And seriously, Snow, I hadn't said this earlier, but come on, you could have waited 4 seconds for them to kiss. Come on, you've been standing there long
Snow, for someone who managed to survive in the forest for months to years, she's not very stealthy.
That was so funny, though. Like,
Killian's face is like.
I'm sorry. I get that I get that Emma was trying to see the best in her parents, but as soon as Snow opened her mouth and said, "Oh, we're going hiking," I almost busted out laughing. I'm like, "Oh my God, are you really gonna really?" I've heard some shitty lies before, but that is beyond shitty, and she actually bought it.
Well, no, see, the thing is, right after that, Charming went on that spiel that sounds very charming in Snow about seeing the good in people, and so she just decided, well, okay, I'm trying to not be the suspicious person anymore. This is a choice Emma is actively making to not be suspicious of everybody. And so she went along with it, and it's good for Hook, but it's not going to be good for Emma's relationship with her parents once the truth actually comes out, because it's going to. And the fact that Snow thinks she can continue to keep this a secret, to infinity, is just nuts.
Yeah. And, well, Charming wasn't entirely honest either, but I do like how they went sheriffing together in this episode.
Yes.
Just some quality time with daddy and daughter.
This is what drives me nuts about fans that will go crazy about any hint of any sort of issue that might pop up between Hook and Emma or whatever. If there's even the slightest hint that one of them might be lying, oh, they're gonna bust up forever, blah blah. She's developed enough at this point, and you can see it in this episode. Her character has developed enough at this point that she's beyond the whole running away thing. We were talking about this last night. It's gotten to the point where she is so in love with him that if he was not showing her a certain amount of affection, warning bells would go off like that. She'd be all, your arms aren't around me, you're not staring at me with hard eyes, what's going on?
Seriously, I like the hard eyes, keep them on.
Yes.
Because at this point, she expects.
But see, that's the thing, though. They had to get Emma to this point before they could even put them in a relationship. Otherwise, all that nonsense that people seem to be perpetually worried about would have been an issue. Like, they would have, they would have broken up like 3 times by now had they gotten together too fast. So I'm glad that it took this long.
Slowborn is the best. Slowborn.
Okay, last question from Anonymous. They say, loved you guys last week as usual. Non-Captain Swan related question. Considering how much we have, as the obsessive fandom, have speculated about Maleficent ties with Lily and the possibilities of Zelina's long con posing as Marian, and all that filmy spoilery stuff, and taking into account what we finally learned about Mal, about what % of the entire viewership do you think is aware of these pretty accurate sounding theories? Do you think Adam and Hedy care that we know so much?
I think they were pissed off about the Selena thing. Like, they must have been pissed off about the Selena thing.
Okay,
but at the same time, they know their fans. Like, they've known since season 1. It's hard to hide shit when you're filming it in Stevestone. From back when they were doing the Snow and Charming, when the curse breaks in season 1 finale, and, whatever fake words they were trying to yell that looked like Snow and Charming. Like, there's going to be a percentage of the fandom that seeks those things out and puts it together before they would rather it be put together. And
they've done better with having the security guards with the big umbrellas to follow them around while they're shooting, important scenes, so that stuff that they don't want to get out doesn't get out. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to figure it out. I mean, look, in season 4, episode 3, they had the umbrellas up in front of Jen and Colin while they were shooting the kiss scene in the middle of the road. But that doesn't mean that we weren't there to see it, because we got video.
Here's the real question that was asked. I mean, a small percentage. I know fandoms like to think that they're big shit and everything, but fandoms are actually a very 10%. Small percentage of the overall.
And most.
I mean, 8 million people watch the show.
Okay, since
and of those people in the fandom, not everybody is fond of spoilers, so not everybody, even of that small percentage, not everybody knows. So
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, but Adam is the one who tweets these titles. Seriously, Lily, Mother, we weren't born yesterday.
Okay, but since I take my job seriously, I did a research.
You do?
Yes, I did important research on Facebook I went to the Facebook,
Aww.
the Once Upon a Time Facebook, and checked the comments on a post about Maleficent's child, and people were speculating that like Emma was her child. So I'm gonna say that the general audience doesn't know.
Well,
Can I say I love
also,
the name for Lilith? Like, that's such a suitable name for the daughter of a dragon.
yes.
Right?
Well, also, I would also like to point out, though, that for some reason last week I checked the comments on the TV Line recap of Darkness on the Edge of Town, and this week on Unforgiven, and after Unforgiven, there were a whole bunch of people who were spouting the Lily is Maleficent's daughter business. So I think it depends on what site you check. If you check one of those recap sites like EW or TV Line or something, somebody from the spoiler part of the fandom is going to just drop comments because they don't care about keeping people non-spoiled.
And they're gonna do it,
Seriously.
and they're gonna do it like, oh, it's just something I came up with. Like, and they want to really see, I was right. Well, duh.
I mean,
But
let's be real.
spoilers.
There's a reason why. Was it Natalie Abrams who did that stupid hot seat business? Because she's EW's once person. But anyway, if it was her, there's a reason why she asked, "Is Lily Maleficent's daughter?" I guarantee you, somebody tweeted the set pictures to her or something, and she saw it, and that's why she asked that specific question. I mean, she could have asked the "Who's Maleficent's kid?" question any way. But she asked specifically, is Lily Maleficent's daughter? And they can't say, which clearly means that she is, because that's how they roll. But
they would have said can't say even if she wasn't, because they want to keep us speculating. But yeah, obviously she is.
Yeah,
Okay.
it would be funny if she came from an egg.
yes,
Yeah,
that's
born
what-
from an egg.
The Grumpy and the dwarves, then. Anything
exactly.
with egg is related somehow.
Okay, we are done with the questions. Do you guys have any comments about the spoilers episode? Anything?
Ooh,
I have to
ooh,
say
ooh,
I am significantly excited to see Sebastian Roche as Stefan.
Stefan, yes.
Yes.
Oh,
I saw the
Sebastian
pictures. I was
is
like, yes,
amazing.
he looks fantastic.
seriously,
Yay.
and he's amazing. If you
Yes,
don't
he
love
is.
Sebastian Rush, you're wrong.
Yeah, I mean, most of us have watched at least one show that he has appeared on. Most of us
I
have watched
mean-
more than one.
Yes. Yes.
So he's wonderful. But
That's true.
and I have two words: crazy adventure.
Mm.
Ooh, yes.
Oh,
yes.
I saw her post, and that my sister and daughter was talking with you, so I saw the post. And yes, I want it. I want
I
it.
have no idea what it could be at this point, but I am for it.
I want it.
Captain Swan film take 2.
Yeah,
Amazing,
I
right?
think.
I don't think that's going to happen in episodes
Yeah.
called Operation Mongoose Part 1 and Part 2.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't believe it. I think they're selling us out there. Anyway, I
No. I think
Yeah,
it's
their
gonna happen
their-
at the end. Of
Their
part
definition
2.
of a crazy adventure and our definition of a crazy adventure are probably wildly different, but the fact that they're planning on them having some kind of adventure together brings me hope.
Yes.
Yeah. Our adventures usually take place in the bedroom.
We hope.
Well, on the show, they usually take place in the Enchanted Forest.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the first
I
time
think I
we
remember
mentioned sex.
there was another question that was asked. Somebody asked, is there going to be an I love you between any of the couple or between any of the
Any of the
characters
couples.
anytime soon? And I think
Yeah.
they said can't say or whatever. I'm like,
Yes.
thank you.
We're the only
Yes.
one left.
Only one fucking left, yeah.
Can we have an I love you and sex? Yes, please,
We
please.
get everything else.
Well, can we talk about the scene Lisa saw with Henry and the bug in the street?
Yes.
So somebody
Lisa,
knows.
take it away.
It started with Henry walking down the street, and the car was literally just parked in the crosswalk in the middle of the street, just like as if it just stopped and it was just there. And so there was leaves blowing and wind blowing. You remember what at the end of episode 311 when she destroyed the original curse and there was nothing left and it was just blowing leaves and everything was gone. It kind of felt like that, where everybody just disappeared and Henry was by himself and he's like, hello, is there anybody there? Hello, anybody? Mom? And he did that scene a few times, and they switched it around to where he was standing in front of Granny's, and he runs out from Granny's and he gets into his mother's car. And at first I thought he was just leaning in to talk to somebody who was in the car, but I knew there was nobody in the car. Then once we were able to see a little bit better, we saw that he was actually getting in the car and trying to start it. I'm like, oh, this is bad juju. If he feels like he needs to steal his mother's car and drive around because nobody else is there, oh boy.
But we also have to acknowledge the apprentice is apparently out of the hat.
Yes.
Yep.
Somehow the apprentice gets out of the hat.
Apprentice is out of the
So
hat.
are those two things connected?
Well, he'd be the only one who could explain things to them.
True.
Yeah, it would have to be at the end of the season because otherwise they would know too much too soon.
Yes.
Because in the first scene we saw, it was Jen and Lana and the apprentice, and they were walking from the front of Granny's across the street towards Gold Shop in a pretty hasty, angry fashion. So it looked like something was going on in front of Gold's, and they were.
Well, we know the apprentice / the sorcerer is aligned against the Dark One.
Yes.
They want nothing to do with him.
Mm-hmm.
So after Jared gets in the car, then they switch Jared out with a double, who was actually a girl. She was just short, and a couple years older than him, because I guess Canadian laws forbid children under a certain age from even being in the driver's seat, even if they're acting. So she comes in, and they were filming her as the body double, trying to start the car and put it in gear and drive it, because we all know that Henry can't drive. So they were trying to film it to look like Henry was attempting to drive his mother's car, but not being very successful.
Someone in that town needs to get an automatic.
Seriously.
To learn on.
Well, they were all from the 80s.
And Hook, for that matter. If they ever want Hook to learn to drive, he's only got one hand, so
Yeah,
you're going to kind of need to give him automatic.
Dibs on August's motorcycle.
I cannot wait for when it comes time for Emma to teach him how to drive. I'm gonna love that shit.
Really?
But I mean, it felt very ominous.
Now I could see the Jared in the bug scene being like the 321 like climax, where something happens in that episode causes everybody to disappear or whatever, or phase out of time or some magical nonsense, and he thinks he's all alone, and everybody's like, "Oh my god!" And then
so he jumps in her car.
The finale
and
is where they fix
him.
it. Well, no, then the finale is where they fix it and introduce the new bad guy. That's what I think.
They did time travel already. I reckon the next finale is going to be an AU.
And there's the whole, what if Regina actually gets what she wants?
Yes.
I mean,
but see, that's the thing, though. But see, I wonder about that because in that hot seat thing they asked about Rumpel and if his happy ending would involve Balefire, and they were like, no, Balefire's dead. So even if he, got the author to give him what he wants or whatever, it can't include Bay because he's dead. So what's happened. They can't undo it. All they can do is change the future, I think. I think that's what they want us to believe, anyway.
Okay, but what if Regina, for some reason, actually manages to change something, so everything else gets screwed up again?
Yeah, and Rumpel could have just used Zelena if Regina hadn't become dark like he wanted her to be.
Yeah, but by the time they're filming the finale, they've already come back to town in a minivan with Robin and Roland. Like, she has Robin and Roland back in Storybrooke.
Yeah, she doesn't need
Well,
the
I'm pretty
author
sure the
anymore.
storyline
More
with
like
the
a
Queens
shit
of
is spiraling out of control kind of thing by the finale than a I need the author to write me a happy ending. Technically, she
Well-
already has, but she thinks
well-
her happy ending is.
Well,
And plus,
it is
see,
Regina.
and there's also this factor, Rumpel is looking for the author too, so just because Roland and Robin are back and Regina's happy, doesn't mean that, I mean, Rumpel's not going to stop.
Exactly.
So they have to find the author anyway before Rumpel does, because there's no telling what Rumpel will do.
Well,
So
I'm
once
pretty
they realize Rumpel's back, I mean, right now they're going to be, focused on the Queens of Darkness. But once they realize that Rumpel's back and is a real threat, they're going, it's going to be all hands on deck, and we have to stop the Dark One from finding the author.
I'm pretty sure though that whatever is going on with the Queens of Darkness is going to be resolved by at least episode 20, because
Yeah.
she gets her daughter back when they come back in episode 20, and no one has seen neither Victoria nor Marin film since. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be resolved. But everything in the last 2 episodes is going to focus on Rumpel's plan and whatever the hell that he's putting into action. And because we've not seen The Apprentice, since we haven't seen The Apprentice until just now, I'm thinking that he's probably not going to come out that hat until later on, like later on.
Yeah, beginning of 21 maybe.
True. Honestly,
Okay.
I'm gonna miss Craw so much.
Yes, I would be very sad.
Her centric is like 18 or something, right?
Yes,
Yes.
18. So
Sympathy
it's right
for the
before
DeVille.
Yeah.
Lily.
Okay, so I think this podcast is done. Number 50. Thank you everyone for listening, and we'll be back next week. Bye.
Hopefully
Bye.
without
Bye.
problems. Bye-bye.
Happy
Oh,
50th.
vote, e-online poll, vote early, vote.